Here you see a sample inventory record. You have the basic information about this piece in the center here. You have a large image on the left-hand side along with secondary images underneath it. On the right-hand side, you have a status area which shows you information about the status of this piece. At the top of the screen, you'll see how many total records are in your inventory file. My demo has 145 records in it. On the left-hand side, you'll see how many are currently found. So this is what's called your found set. And you can flip from record to record here. You can flip all the way to the end of the found set here, all the way to the beginning of the found set here, and so on. On the right-hand side, you'll see a quick find feature. This is a nice feature where you can just start typing information, and it's going to search all of the fields in your inventory. So this found 3 records. So that's now my found set, and I can flip from record to record here. Okay, down below you'll see there's a new button to make a new record. There's a find button to find existing records, so you know you can just type information. This is going to search all of your fields, but you can also use the find feature to get a more exact search of your information. And there will be a finding training demo later on, which will go into more depth about that type of search. The omit button allows you to pull a record out of your current found set. So for example, I have a found set of 3 currently. If I don't want this particular record in my found set, if I choose omit, now I only have 2. It's pulled that one out. Okay. On the right-hand side, you can print anything you're looking at by hitting the little printer icon. And you can use our table view toggle to a list view of your found set. So for example, I'm going to just get back into my total records by clicking on total records. So now I have a found set of 145 things. And if I wanted to see those in a list view, I can hit my little toggle here. Okay, so this is now in my table view. I can scroll through here to see things in this list view. If I wanted, I can sort alphabetically by any of these headers by just clicking on them. For example, this particular found set that I'm in, I can basically see how many of each artist I have in my found set. I can use this handy flagging system, which allows you to select some records and then hit the Find Flag button, and it will just select the ones that I clicked off. Once I've selected those things, I can do other things with them. If I want to go back to my inventory, I can just click the blue dot next to any of these items to come back. Okay, let me just go back to my sample record. So I'm going to just show you around a little bit on the fields here. You have generally an artist field, title, date, medium, dimensions, signed information, edition information, location of the piece, and whether it's framed or not. Anytime we can, we give you a drop-down menu for certain fields. Like, for example, in medium, you can choose from a list. You can edit this list. Anytime we give you a drop-down menu, you can always edit it yourself. So you can change that list. And you can also enter edition information. So for example, if I enter it's edition 1 of 20, you'll see a preview of how that's going to print over here on the right-hand side. Copy number is what copy number it is. Maybe it's not an edition, maybe it's an AP, in which case you could just have typed that information in here. You'll see that's displayed this way now. Or I could also have said how many total APs are in there. So you can say, you know, 2 APs, and it would display it like that. Now you can set up how this displays and prints out in the settings file. On the right-hand side, you'll see a status area where you can see the inventory number of the piece, which generates automatically, and you can decide how it wants to generate based on what you've set in the settings file. There's a status field here, which can display You know, is the piece available? Is it sold? Is it consigned out? Things like that. This again is a drop-down menu, so it's always editable. You can put your own things in there. We also allow you to edit the color and letter that appears based on what the status has been chosen. And those are totally editable by you in the settings file. And I will just say that you can run the settings training video, and it will take you through that file so that you can make your decisions. So there's also an active-inactive field. Active-inactive is an important field. Essentially, let's just say a salesperson wants to do a search based on a specific artist of works that are for sale. Now, works may be tagged as available, but they also might be tagged as consigned out. If something is consigned out, it's still available, still essentially for sale. But when you do a search for available works, you're not going to come, you know, it's not going to come up with consigned out works. So the easy way to do that search is by clicking Find. I'll just do it based on this artist, and only my active things. And so that's essentially going to find everything that's for sale. It's not sold, it's not for sale, you know, it's not been gifted away, things like that. It's active. When I hit enter on my keyboard, it's going to find me everything that's active, whether it's consigned out or available. Okay, so let's go back to my sample record. Going down the row here, you have acquired status. Acquired status is how it came to you. So if the status of the piece is what's happening with it now, how it came to you is maybe you own it, you purchased it, maybe you consigned it in, maybe you share it with a partner, maybe it was a gift to you. And again, you can edit it yourself, the list. Category is it a painting, drawing, sculpture, photograph, things like that. Genre, of course, is here. Other inventory numbers. So in the event that your artist, for example, keeps their own numbering system, you might want to track their numbers. Or maybe you're a collector and you want to track the catalog numbers or the lot numbers from the auction. You can put that information in there. This is going to display the retail price here. Okay, I'm just going to look briefly at the images screen. There will be a training demo on images specifically, and we'll go into more depth about imaging, but let's have a look. So if you click on the image here, it's going to take you to a larger screen where you can see a larger image of the you can see multiple images for this piece. It's unlimited. So you can essentially store multiple images. Maybe it's a sculpture and you want to see different views of that sculpture. You can see it in here. Maybe it's a portfolio and you have 20 different images. You can put them all in here. And of course you can print it out, you can email it, all kinds of things. When you click Done, it takes you back to the inventory. Let's look down the tabs here. You have a general notes field here. As with every field in ArtBase, it's an unlimited field. You can put as much information in that field as you want to. Down below, you'll see when the record was created and who created it. You can also see when it was last modified and who modified the record last. On the right-hand side, you'll see a preview field. This is a preview of all of the main information about this piece. You can just select it, copy it, and paste it for another program. So you don't have to copy and paste each individual field. This is also in the font and font size that you've specified as your main one in the settings file. It's also formatted properly for you. So the title in this case is italicized, things like that. You also have the ability to include the fact sheet in this preview, and that is essentially provenance, exhibition history, literature. In financials, you'll see some basic financial information. I'm not going to go through it in detail because we've got another training session for that. But you've got the source of the piece is here, the date it was received, and the source is essentially where did it come from, so that could be who you bought it from or who you consigned it from. We have 5 different main pricing fields here, and just like with actually these fields as well. You can rename them in the settings file. So for example, in the event that the word artist does not suit your business, maybe you're a furniture reseller, you might change the word artist to maker or something like that. Title, maybe you could change that to description if title doesn't suit you. And similarly, these 5 pricing fields, you can name them anything you want. Down below here, you have the price notes field. Price notes can be any notes about the sale or what you can do with the price. Can it go up and down? Things like that. Additional costs is here. It's basically all the money that you've spent on this piece. It could be fabrication costs, it could be shipping, framing, anything like that. And you can specify who paid for it, the artist or the gallery. You can see currency here. This allows you to specify the currency exchange rate, and then you can recalculate based on the amounts that you've put in here just by clicking on the currency itself. So then it's recalculated the retail price. Purchase info is in here. This essentially is all the details about the purchase, and you can record all of that in here. Payables, who you're going to owe money to when you sell this piece. And finally, price history. This is a record of every change to the price that you've made, and it's automatically going to get recorded in here. So every time you change it, it just records it right here at the top. Under location, you can see the location of the piece is here and all the details about it. To change the location, you can just click right on it. This will show you the location, which you can change just by hand here. You can also go in and link it to a contact in your contacts file. So if I choose to do that, select a location from contacts, I say yes, and then it will take me to my contacts file where I can search on that. So if I search for myself, I can then click on ArtBase, and then it will give me the different addresses I might be able to select for that. So if I, for example, choose this address, it's going to show it right there. I can always click on it to go back to that person's contact record. Sublocation is like box number, flat file, things like that. Via is how did it get there, the date that it went, and you can choose on a calendar or you can hit set to today and I'll put today's date in. Okay, the batch feature allows you to change your entire found set to this one location. Condition and installation. This is a condition of the piece along with an image for the condition. And condition history allows you to see a history of the condition. You also have installation instructions and maintenance instructions. You can easily print this information out for your client just by clicking on the printer button. You can also print either a condition report or a condition history report. The description of the piece is in here. So description, keywords, subgenre. These are just suggestions of how you might use this field. So for example, if you want to put some keywords in there, for example, the colors that are represented in there, in this particular case, this is a portrait. If I write the word portrait in here, if I do a search for keywords portrait, I would be able to pull up all the portraits in my inventory. Comments, this can be used for anything, maybe a good quote that you know about this particular artwork. Reference, subject, series, country of origin, weight, and running time is for videos. Let me speak to this little field here. This little arrow allows you to insert from an index. An index is basically every word that's ever been entered into this particular field, and you can click on it to select from a group. So basically, this is, if you don't want to type a lot of words over and over again, you can just select from all the words you've used in the past. Frame and crate information, this is all of the framing information, all the details about that, whether it was framed or mounted. If you choose framed here, it will then show it right here, so you don't have to come into this screen to see that. Documents and web links. This is a nice area where you can store documents or essentially attach them to your inventory record. You can attach documents to inventory pieces, to artists, and to contacts in the contacts file. Types of documents you can attach are things like Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, JPEGs, even QuickTime movies and sound files. And so anything that has to do with this particular piece, you might attach as a document in here. To attach a document, you just hit the green button here. It will then ask you if you want to store it as a reference or import it into the file. So storing it as a reference is going to store the path to the original document. If you click import, it will actually import or embed that document into your database. If you store as a reference, if you move the original document or if you rename it, you will lose the connection to this inventory record. However, you can keep editing that document without affecting your inventory. If you choose import, it will actually embed the file into your database. So let me give you some examples. If you choose reference, for example, let's just say I wanted to attach an artist bio that I had written in Microsoft Word. If that's the type of thing that might be changing on a regular basis. So my artist bio is always sort of being edited. If I store it as a reference, I can always continue to edit that original document. The import function I might use for something like a PDF of a signed contract. That signed contract isn't going to get edited. It's not going to get changed. You don't want it to be changed. You want to store a copy of it and never lose it. In that case, I would import that document. Okay, in here you can delete. You can double click on it to see that document. You can export it and you can email it by hitting the little email icon here. Web links. So this is just a website that might be a reference for this particular artwork. So for example, the Richard Avedon website, you can put their link in here and then you can name it. When you click on the blue dot, it will open their website. Parts are parts of the piece. So for example, maybe this item is a piece of furniture. Maybe it's a table, and that table has multiple parts to it. You can store information about each part. Maybe they're all coming from different locations. You can put those parts in here, and you can enter an expected assembly date. And finally, other. And other are custom fields. These are 5 fields that you can name yourself in the settings file. And you can put anything you want in these fields. And you'll also notice that there's a little I over here. And let me just talk about that a little bit. The I button allows you to get information or help about what you're looking at. If you aren't sure of what you're seeing, you might click the I button and it will explain what you're looking at. These are custom fields. You can name them in the settings file. As you're starting out in ArtBase, I recommend always clicking on the I because you may learn something you didn't know before. Also, let me point out, you'll notice that some of these tabs are in black and some of them are in gray. Why is that? The reason for that is because there is information in the ones that have the black lettering and there is no information in the gray lettering. So as you're clicking through here, you will know just at a glance that the black tabs have information in them. Going down the row, you have your fact sheet here. Fact sheet allows you to enter provenance, exhibition history, literature, and anything else, basically nota bene or something like that. And you can print your fact sheet right here. Forms and lists. So this is going to show you every form or consignment form, loan form, shipping form, transfer form, any of those types of contracts with a signature at the bottom is going to be listed in here on the left-hand side. Any lists or exhibitions are going to be listed on the right-hand side. So anytime you do a list or have an exhibition, you'll create a list and it will be showing right in here. Offers and reserves, you're going to see, if you've offered this piece for sale, it will be listed in here. If you've put it on reserve, it's going to be on the right-hand side. Visual details. So this is details about the image. Has the piece been photographed? Yes or no? When was it photographed? Any photography notes about that piece? And whether the piece is due to be photographed. So that's important if you want to just make sure that when your photographer is coming, you know which items he needs to photograph. You can check them off and then search on that field if you need to. Finally, sales info. Let's go to a sold record. In sales info, you'll see who the piece was sold to, what consultant was involved in the sale, if there was one, who the current collector is. So this is basically if maybe you sold it to another gallery, but you know that they sold it to someone else and you want to track who the final collector was. You can put it in there. This is all the details about the sale, how much it's sold for. If it's sold in a second currency, it would be displayed in here, both the dollar and the other currency, like euros. Invoice number, date sold, the status, is the invoice paid or not? Sales notes, any notes about the sale? Sales history, so it can sell and come back and then be sold again. Payable statements, so if you have paid your payables, it's going to be listed in here. Okay, that is the end of the introduction to the inventory file. You can move on to the next training video. Thank you.